Welcome to selfdiscoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy. My wonderful guest today is Pat Alva-Kraker. We're going to be talking about her new book. She's written or co-written quite a few of them, but this is Catherine's Quest, the one woman's journey to elation. Oh, do we want a little elation along the way there? She said when she was diagnosed with breast cancer for a second time, it hit her hard. She lost all her energy almost overnight and started asking some big questions. Will I have the strength to keep living my life I love? How do I stay relevant to my business and my own story? That wake-up call became the start of something powerful. I choose to live differently, diving into the practices that help me heal, feel strong again, and age with purpose. The journey led her to a signature class, Blueprint to Sustaining Relevancy, Vitality, and Longevity. She's also sharing this because she also knows not only women are asking these questions, and this isn't about bouncing back, it's about rising up even higher. She spent years in the corporate ladder, IBM, Lockheed Martin, leading teams, pushing for results, but life had other plans. After surviving breast cancer twice, she realized it was time to stop living on autopilot and start living on purpose. That experience cracked her open and set her on a path of deep healing and revitalization. And today she helps women, especially those midlife, reclaiming their energy, vitality, and sense of relevance. And she blends what she's learned with the corporate world, through what she's learned with the corporate world, and about knowing about biohacking, energy healing, creative expression, mindful leadership. She has coaching sessions, retreats, and creating with clay. She guides women into the next chapter to feel strong, clear, and fully alive. And when she's not doing that, she's off exploring the world or playing a lively game of pickleball with her husband, Mitch. Life is about joy. And I think so many times in life we get bogged down. I always believe whatever happens to us is for us. And kind of you got cancer the first time and maybe you didn't pay attention to the message at that time, and it had to happen a second time for you to go, no, it's about redirection. You need to go on a different path. Pay attention. If we could pay attention to those signs along the way, I think we save ourselves a lot of grief. But at the same time, what we go through is part of our lesson in life, and very, very important that we do go through it because it really does become our purpose, doesn't it, Pat? Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. I feel really appreciate the opportunity to have a conversation with you and really make an impact on your clients and your audience that will be listening here on making positive choices.
Yes. We often don't know what those positive choices are. And it's like, just be positive. And, you talked about energy. I have been dealt a nice little disease that sucks the energy right out of me. And so you spend so much and it takes 3 or 4 times as long to recharge. And all the enthusiasm in the world, it's really hard to get that energy back, however positive the attitude is. And I think sometimes it's trying to tell us, just nurture yourself. It's okay. You don't
Mm.
have to be in fifth gear. Just nurture yourself. Was that one of the lessons that you got out of this?
Absolutely, Sarah. Nurturing yourself and nurturing myself was part of a year and a half healing journey. And being able to put everything aside,
Hmm.
my business, my community work, some of my passions to nurture myself back into health, relevancy, and vitality. And I didn't realize how much of an effort it was going to take, and how much education it was going to take, and how much of a shift in my perspective it was going to take to get me to the other side of that.
You don't get to
So,
the other side of that unless you go through the process. And I think one of the biggest things that we never give each other, apart from grace, is time. This
yes.
isn't a hurry up, Cancer. I haven't got all day. I've got things to do. No, there is a reason why you had to
Mm-hmm.
slow down. There was a reason why it took a year and a half. And I think, there's so much this pressure on push forward, push forward, push forward, just get through it. And it isn't about reaching the other side. It's about what you learn on the journey there, however long it takes.
Yes. Yes, and that's a really good point. We, after having worked in corporate for 35 years, you're
Mm,
so driven
yeah.
by production. You have to produce the results. You have to work as hard as you can. You have to do more than everybody else because you're a minority, you're a woman, you're whatever. And that uniform gets really put on really tight.
Yes.
And it takes a lot to take that uniform off
Hmm.
and not live that way anymore and choose a different lifestyle, choose a different meaning of success, and choose how you want to make your impact. And it doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen when you take action,
Hmm.
because in that action, what I learned is that in that action comes the clarity.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then that happens. It's like, oh, okay, this is really where I need to be now with who I am and what I can offer, what my strengths are, what my values are. And we all need to take that pause
Yeah.
occasionally.
Oh boy, do we. And we don't pay attention
Yeah.
to that. And I always say it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. None of that is a waste of time. I interview a lot of veterans and I'm very anti-war, but I'm very, thoughtful over the veterans that have come back and they've realized there's something they need in their healing that's missing. And what
Mhm.
do? They form it for themselves, they create it for themselves, but they've got the discipline and they've got the structure of being in the forces that they can now bring to the table. Well, it's the same with corporate, it's the same with whatever you've done before. All of that is like, oh, I've got this tool and that tool and this strategy. I can apply it to this new thought process, this new purpose in life. So everything is just transferable, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And when we're aware
Hmm.
that whatever skill set we learned and how embedded it becomes in us, we can tune in and say, I've been here before.
Yeah.
I've had a similar situation and I got myself out of it.
Yes.
So let's turn to that tool that I relied on for this situation,
Hmm.
apply it. And I think that becomes an important tool for us to be able to count on is, have I been here before,
Hmm.
and how did I get myself out of it?
Yeah.
And let's use that tool again. And one of the things that I learned um, is that for a long time I sided on convenience versus discipline.
Hmm.
And when you switch and shift to discipline is more important than convenience, your life shifts. My life shifted with that level of discipline for my health, on what
Hmm.
to eat, what not to eat, how much movement, how do I feel, how do I feed my soul, and not giving into, I don't feel like it today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't feel like it today. It's not resonating, whatever. It's like, no, discipline over convenience was a big lesson for me during my um, recovery, reinvention, whatever you want to call it,
Mm.
process.
And it's not again pushing through. Um, like yesterday, I had a pile of things I needed to do. I was away the weekend before, and the weekend before that, family, and I've got housework to do, I've got this to do, I've got that to do, and it was like, my body energy said, no, actually, it's a nurturing day. And it's like
Mhm.
that's where the discipline is sometimes in just paying attention that your body needs this today. So I did the minimal amount that I needed to do. So to know I've done it, right? Got it done, but also to take that time. And the discipline is also, I'm a priority here. What do
Yes.
I need? And do we give ourselves that permission to have a priority?
I agree with you. And what I caught in listening to you is that self-awareness is
Mm,
everything.
mm, mm,
Self-awareness is everything until you catch yourself in the good or good behavior, bad behavior, or why am I feeling this way? Or look at what I'm thinking.
mhm.
You're not going to catch yourself and live differently if you're not self-aware at every level. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Mind, body, and soul level.
Mm. I'm glad you said that, mind, body, heart, and soul, because a lot of people leave the soul out. And for me, that's where the wisdom is. The
Mm-hmm.
wisdom it comes through the soul as the universal God, universe, source, energy, whatever you wish to call it, that then resonates with the heart and truth, is given to the spirit in action for the mind to know the clarity it needs when it needs it. And we cannot receive that clarity, that wisdom, if we're always on an agenda or dictating instead of allowing. And I think one of the journeys when people get what I call the cosmic two by four, cancer,
Yeah.
right? And it is are you allowing? Are you aware? Because when you are aware, you care. When you care, you do something about it. Are you allowing the clarity to come to you to understand what it is you need to do? Yes, you've got those skills, but it's the wisdom to know how to use those skills right now that is relevant. And very often we do not allow ourselves to be aware in the moment. And that's really all we have, isn't it?
Yes, and I like your answer in regarding to skills because we can have a long list of skills,
Mm,
but the important question is, do which of those skills actually align with your values?
mm,
And it's the one that align with your values that we should be actually allowing to actually surface and using them as a gift to make an impact in the world. So for me, alignment was everything, and taking a look at what are the things that I really enjoy doing, and how do they align with my value of contribution
yes.
and doing, and so I listed my values and I started really focusing on those skill sets. But I have to go back to the point where you say allowing yourself to receive. And I became a steward of taking the time to sit still and listen and ask. And one of the questions that I asked was, I'm not gonna do everything the same way. I'm choosing to step differently because you wouldn't have taken me through
Yeah.
this path a second time if you didn't want a shift in
Mm-hmm.
me somehow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the question was, where do you want me? What is it that you want me to learn and investigate that I have just really not heard the whisper?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer came in creativity. I
Mm-hmm.
want you to be more creative. And I asked, well, how? And the answer came back, I want you to start working with clay.
Mm.
And I would have never imagined that answer. And for the longest time, I resisted. I'm like, you got to be kidding.
Mm-hmm. Resistance is futile. You know
No,
that.
no, you're not. You're really, really, really. And I know I'm like, and I would ask that question over and over and over, and it would come back, Pat. I want you to be creative, and I want your medium to be clay. And I said, okay, okay. So I went to school and I started enrolling in classes, and I'm still in classes. I'm attending a community college, taking a course in community college in pottery, and have been doing that for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And just allowing the creativity of what I should be building
Yeah.
and asking, where do you want me? What do you want me to build? How do you want me to serve other women with this creativity? And one of the ways that has surfaced in creativity with women is that I would share. I'm now working with my hands and I'm working with clay and I'm loving it. And a typical response would be, well, I'm not creative. I'm not
Yeah.
creative. And I would
Mm.
get that response from women over and over. Have you ever heard that? That
Every excuse in the book people come up with, right? Because it's the lack of it's self-doubt, it's the lack of self-value. It's like, well, everybody else is doing, I can't do that. And it's like, well,
yeah.
take your butts and sit on it. And you don't know what you can do until you try. Right. And there's something else beautiful about working with clay or working with your hands. Yes, you're creating something. That's very, very nice. But it's the therapeutic and the meditative in that creativity of while you're kneading it, you're making it. It is something that has you channel. It's a channeling source, I
It's
think.
yep, channeling. I totally agree with you on that. And there's nothing like it. Once I got my hands into the clay, it was a breath of fresh air for
Hmm.
me. It was like I could breathe
Yes.
again. And it is so soulful. And other people who have worked with clay have actually described that as even sensual
Hmm. Hmm.
working with clay, because of the feel. And it's all the elements.
Yes.
You're touching all the elements. And I made a commitment to myself that as I started going through my journey with learning clay and really understanding the process and what each step taught me about life or business in general, that I would teach a class
Yes.
for women on creativity through hand building, so that it creates an opportunity to have a transformation and have them realize that creativity is just right there in front of them and it's in us all. We have that capacity. Every day we do it.
Yeah.
We create, whether we're cooking, whether we're dressing
Yes.
ourselves, decorating
Yes.
our house, we're
Yes.
using creativity every day.
And one of the
Yeah.
problems is what we put in our way is the comparison and competing. Well, I can't compete with so and
Mhm.
so, they do it so well. Or I can't compare to that person, they're at the top of the thing. You are not that person, you're yourself. What is the essence that wants to come through you? What
Mhm.
is your energetic signature? What is it here to do? There's word you use, which I absolutely love, um, contributing. We're all here to serve one another. What is our contribution? What is our
Yes.
gift to share? Right. And when we go into that space of being connected to universe, God, to self, when we allow that translation to come out and whatever it is we're creating, then we know that this couldn't be anyone else. It could only be you. It's
Yes.
your energy, it's your signature, it's your essence, and it's here to be of purpose to those that need it in whatever area they need it in.
It is so true. And you're right. Comparison is a killjoy.
Yeah.
It is a
Yes.
killjoy. And um, everybody's unique, and we have a unique way of, everybody has their how, even though we may all be in the same profession,
Yeah.
everybody has a different way of delivering whatever the skill set, the gift that you have. And when we understand that, you are able to take a deep breath and allow yourself, the authentic self,
Yes.
to come out, because
Yeah.
you're no longer in that space of comparison
You're
and
not in your own way.
you're yeah,
Because how often do we get in our own way?
a lot.
Expectation. I've been taught I should do it this way. No, society says I should do it that way. No, I should. Take the should, throw it out, right?
Yeah.
And back to the
Yeah.
allow. How are
Yeah.
you meant to do it? It's not important how anybody else does it. How are you meant to do it? Whom is it
Mhm.
for? And is it authentic in what you are doing? Is it coming from a place of love? Because when you have that self love, it translates
Absolutely.
out to love. And I think that
Mhm.
is that is what we're all meant to be contributing, is that honest love of who we are, why we are, and what it is our gift to share. Discover your self-discovery of your gift through attaching to your wisdom and allowing it to ignite your purpose. Is there anything greater?
I know. Wow, that is powerful. I hope you women, you just listen to what Sarah just shared, because it is absolutely powerful. The allowing and stepping into that power. And once you find that space where you know what you're good at, you know that you're the only one that can deliver it and can do it this way, then you start leading yourself
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
And your self leadership becomes, I think, very important on
Hmm.
how you navigate life and the narrative that you write about
Mm.
yourself, your chapter, whatever it is that your self leadership defines, is able to define how you move.
So all of this journey and all of this self-discovery that you've made translated into this book. So was
Yes.
this like, I am now here, I understand my purpose. I'm at one with self. Now it's time for me to put pen to paper so that it can inspire. And I always believe that inspiration begets invitation. And when you are inspired by something, it invites you to believe you can too.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And the book that we're talking about is Catherine's Quest, One Woman's Journey to Elation, which can be found on Amazon. And it is about self-leadership.
Mhm.
It's about connecting with yourself and living life through intention, which is what I had to do, is to live life through intention and allowing whatever lessons surface, and really knowing that all the answers are really within you, and and it's about love, and it's about
Yes.
self-care,
Hmm.
and yeah, and it's about resilience, because in this book, this Catherine, she loses a lot in her
Hmm.
life and has to self-lead herself out of the situation, and becomes very resilient. And yes, there is a lot about love in this book as well. It's an interesting book. It's a cross between fiction and nonfiction. So
Faction.
although it says Catherine's Quest, people ask me this book about you. I said, well, elements of this storyline is about me, and it's about all women who have
Mm.
had some level of loss and have had to regroup and lead themselves into um, a different chapter and rise above what they were just in a better way.
Yeah.
And so there's questions in there, there's quotes, there's I speak and I do some musing in the book, and then there's Catherine and her story is
Hmm.
going. So it's an interesting and different book than what we see most in the bookstores, because it's a cross.
People think resilience is getting so tough and building a hard shell that almost you become kind of bitter or disconnected. Resilience is actually stepping out in your beautiful vulnerability, in trust
Mm.
of the divine, of love, love of self, love of that wisdom, love of what you're here to do, and in trust of that. It's a resilience that no matter what gets thrown at me, I know I'm taken care of. I'll get back up. I know I've got this because this is the purpose, and it comes from the heart. It's the soul, divine wisdom that is guiding me. And it isn't about becoming bitter and tough. And then a lot of women, it's kind of, well, I had to toughen up. And, I don't take no nonsense and this and that. Fine, okay. But what you're doing is a disservice to yourself, because
Mhm.
we don't want to be, I'm not going to take it anymore, right? And yes, no, you're not going to take it anymore. How about changing the way you say that? I have boundaries, right? I know what I will receive and what I won't receive, but I come from a place of love and I will only work in a place of love.
Yeah, I love that. Um, what I will receive and will not receive, I love that. And the other question that I have asked myself in a similar framework is, what am I available for, and what am
Mm,
I not available for?
yeah,
And then defining that for myself in the what kind of business environments do I want to now be in and not be in? What kind of clients am I available for and not available
yeah,
for? And absolutely, those questions, receiving, not receiving, and when am I available and not available for, really make a difference. And when you start answering those two questions, you end up transforming and become a better version of yourself. And
100%.
resilience isn't about going back. It's
No.
about where you're rising to based on the
Mhm.
situation that you're in.
And the parameters and your boundaries is this is my loving equilibrium. Anything that is outwardly that wants to shatter that is not welcome, right? We
Right.
choose which energy we wish to be in. And that very often means that our circle gets smaller, right? And family,
Yes.
loved ones, friends, and it's okay. You may love them, but they're not there yet. You have to take care of you. And
Mhm.
it's about being true in who you are, why you are, and what you're doing. And your energy will be received by those that are rising up to a higher energy within themselves. You can't help those that are
Yeah.
still on that, angry
Mhm.
or vengeance or why me? It's about,
Victim. Yeah.
yes, victimhood. It
Victim.
is about, I have decided to place
Mhm.
importance upon myself, not self-importance. That's not about entitlement or anything. It's in the
Mhm.
importance of myself on who I am, why I am, how to nurture myself and what I'm here for. I'm on that journey and I wish to be around any people of that beautiful, loving energy that will nurture me so that I can grow to nurture others.
It's really interesting what you talk about because I did experience that for myself where the
Mm,
circle becomes smaller. So many times when we are in the area of relevancy, vitality, and longevity, when we look at relationships, because everything at the end of the day is about relationships, is how many times we're in relationships that we feel we're obligated to be in.
hmm Yeah. Too
And
many.
being able to, too many, right? You
Far
have to
too
step
many.
back and say, in this relation, am I in this relationship because I feel I'm obligated to be in it?
Mm,
Or am I in this relationship because there's absolutely mutual love and respect and support and growth out of it?
yes.
And being able to see those relationships for what they are.
Yeah. Yes. And that it's okay to say, no, I wish you well, but no.
Mhm. Yes.
That's a hard one, especially as a
It-
woman, right? Because it's always about, well, you've just got to say yes. You're never going to get anywhere until you say yes. And no, it's okay to say no. I wish you well, but no.
Mhm. Mhm. And then just allowing those people to just leave your space,
Yeah. Yes.
leave your space and not have that little thread still connected to them is that we have to sometimes get the
Yeah.
scissors and totally clip that relationship so that we're focusing our energy to those relationships that really give us energy
Yes.
and move us forward. Yeah.
The more
Yeah.
loving energy we have, the more we are in service to others. Right?
Mhm.
We may think we're only helping a small circle, but now comes the beautiful spider's web as we lift their energy and they step into their energy, ripple, ripple, ripple out. So,
Mhm.
well, yeah, but I want to get to the masses and scream from the rooftops. Well, you're still in the wrong energy because the inspiration is quieter. It is like people want to be around you because of your
Mhm.
energy, because of your heart. This ignites their heart and soul. This lifts their spirit. This opens them up to what their possibilities are. Don't underestimate the quietness and what it's here to do.
I totally agree with you that with that it is in those quiet moments and it's in that calmness that
Mm.
um, you're shifting to allowing those who resonate with you versus going out and chasing.
Yes, yes. hmm
No chasing.
Invitation, right? Inspiration, invitation. Because when you inspire, you invite. Right?
Yeah.
We want people to believe they can too. Not your journey, but they too themselves, if they're
Yeah.
willing to allow. Don't wait for the cosmic two by four. Listen to the nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Right? It's like, this is not serving me. I'm not happy. Literally write down 2 columns. Everything that stresses you out and everything that makes you happy. What are you feeding? What are you
Yeah.
watering? Because if it's the wrong thing, that's the reason why you're not feeling satisfied or you're feeling disconnected or you're feeling less than. Start watering the things that are more meaningful and more loving and that give you more joy. We've forgotten how to have joy.
I agree with you on that. I agree. We've had standards. We've been living by different values, different standards that have been imposed by society,
Yeah.
by church, by corporate, by
Hmm.
family and
By
friends,
government.
that government, and you find yourself living this lifestyle or valuing something that really doesn't resonate with you, and then you're wondering why you're not happy or
Mm,
dissatisfied or not in joy or not in spending a lot of your time in love. Um, because we haven't really defined what joy is for us or
right.
what success is for us
Yeah.
or being in healthy relationships is for us.
Yeah.
Until we define it for ourselves, we're living somebody else's meaning of what that is.
We've got a society right now which is screaming that power is money. The more money you
Yes.
have, the more control you have, the more power you have. Um, I do my own show every week, Sarah's View of Life, and a couple of months ago, I did one. Who is richer, the poor or the ultra rich?
Mm.
And I've just through observation and for the many years I've been doing this, people that chase the money and chase the power are always empty on the inside. They're looking at the money and the power to fulfill. When I have more money, I will feel this. When I have more power, I'll have that. And no, your empowerment and your wonderful sense of enrichment and abundance comes from within. And that's really where the power lies. So I believe that the true currency is in love, self
Yeah.
love, a loving
Yes.
purpose,
Mhm.
living in loving joy. And the more that you exude out, that's the currency you're sharing. And it is
Mhm.
empowering because it's always seeding and watering. Um, yes, everybody would like more money, especially in today's world where everything costs so much. But so many people give in to money being their defining who they are, or that
Yes.
needing the power because they feel lack within. And I don't care how rich or powerful you are, as we're seeing very much on the political platform right now, if you're lacking within, you're poor. And we all have to go in to find our enrichment.
And I think we're in an interesting phase in the planet because the planet itself is shifting and
Hmm.
people's level of consciousness is shifting.
Yes.
And what I'm noticing, and you may be noticing too, Sarah, is that we are inviting
Yeah.
the inner conversations now instead of the outer conversations,
Yes.
where we're now falling in love with ourselves and connecting with ourselves in bigger ways than we used to because we were living with the standards that really don't make any sense
We weren't
anymore.
given permission in the past. That was ego. Well, we've seen what ego does when it goes rampant, when it's lack within. But when you step into self love and a love of life and a love of meaningful purpose, that it is such a loving vibration that can only heal. You
Yeah.
cannot do harm. To do harm is to harm yourself, right?
Mhm.
Because it's that higher consciousness. And
I
I've been
love it.
doing this 13 years. I've done 3,000 shows myself. And, you know, all of my teaching, because I'm here to ignite heart and souls, through my life. And I'm 70 now, so been around the block a bit. We're at this time period in life where permission, an invitation to ignite our hearts, souls, and spirits is not only um, relevant for this time period, it's essential if we want to
Yes.
survive as a human species, if we want to save this planet. And that higher
Mhm.
consciousness has never been more important than it is now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you that going within and love is the answer, and really respecting the planet and
Yes,
Mother Earth
yes.
more than ever now. It's very important because we're all shifting together,
Mm-hmm.
personally, and the Earth is shifting as well.
Yeah.
and really honoring her place in our life, and really having that connection with Mother Earth.
Mm. And Mama Earth gives us everything. And completely don't blame her for evicting us because we have not been kind. And if this is another big word, if you find it hard because you're coming out of something bitter and you find it hard to step into love right now because it is a journey, step into kindness. Kindness
Oh yeah,
towards self and kindness towards each other. It will lead to love.
yeah, you're right. And every day we're at choice.
Yeah.
Every day we're at choice. Are we going to be kind to ourselves? Are we going to be
Mhm.
kind to others? Every day is a choice. And taking that time to live an intentional life.
Intentional, on
Hmm.
purpose, within
Um,
purpose. Yeah, it's all there. Now, of course, you've written some other books, but this is one that you've been in, The Mission Accepted, 262 Women,
I,
entrepreneurs and creatives in media, which is 262 women have contributed in this book. I'm here as well. And I've, beautifully kind of had the grace of people who've been in the book to share their shows with me. So I'm up to about 49 now. And to expand their story on what they're doing. And, the mission of this book, it's a 5-year plan, Golden
yeah,
Globes, Oscars, Emmys, and now started a TV channel, the Women's TV channel. And anybody that was on the wonderful summits that they did over around an 18-month period is on that
mhm,
TV channel. And so this, driven by Deb Drummond, whose energy exhausts me because she's got so much of it. But at the same time, the driving force behind why she's doing it, and it is to illuminate each other's voices. Your
yes.
contribution of your
Mhm.
journey and stepping into your light illuminates somebody else's path. And the more we're willing to share that, and the more we're willing to get out there and speak about it through books, through podcasting, through our work, through everything else that we do, the more it lifts us all up. And it is the era of the woman, right? The woman
Yeah.
and her kind of mama rolling up her sleeves. I ain't going to put up with that. It's going to be about love and kindness. You say sorry now, right? And you
Mhm.
step into your glory. And we're there to do
And
it because we're leading the way.
and we are leading the way, and I think we're doing it in a lot of different ways. And one thing that we are better at than men are is that we're great collaborators.
Yes, yes, yes.
We know how to bring women in for a cause, and allowing each partner in the conversation to bring in their gifts and their talents and play in the sandbox for
Yeah,
the well-being of everyone. And we do that best.
yes, we do. Because we understand that when you rise, we all rise. When you
Yes. Yeah.
illuminate, it sheds light on everybody. And that's the beauty of it. And it isn't about I'm the best. No, again, no compete, no compare.
Yeah.
Right? It's we're all part of the orchestra. Our journey, our self-discovery is to discover what is our instrument, how to play it well as an individualist, which orchestra to bring it to, where we can play, each respecting our own gift, but play harmoniously together. And we know how to do that.
We know how to do that. We absolutely know how to do that. And I think we also are kind. It's our
Yeah.
nature to
Mm.
be kinder, warmer, inclusive um, uh, species, women, because we just have that within us to
We
to
care.
nurture and include,
Yeah.
and yeah, and just
It
lead
comes
the
from a
way.
caring voice. We
Yeah,
we want to, yes, we've seen the movie Mean Girls, and everybody can have a mean streak in them, right? But that generally comes from lack, insecurity. But when we step into our own presence of liking who we are, why we are, and we do not need to explain, validate, justify, we just are. It just is. We really do care about other people finding that path themselves and becoming that as well, becoming part of the harmony, part of that chorus. And having said that, you have contributed to other books as well. The Resilient AF, Stories of Resilience volume, The Gift of the Universe Through Women That Lead, and Ignite Your Leadership, Invite Abundance. So you're already doing that, like you contributed to other books as well as written your own. And whether, a lot of people think I can't be an author. I have wonderful Crystal Hill on this last week. Please listen to her because it is about everybody can be an author. You just may
Yes.
need guidance to actually put it down on pen, but your story matters, right?
Yes.
And we
Yes.
need it because it becomes somebody else's illumination, somebody else's
Mhm.
permission.
Mhm. And and it's true, somebody else's permission, because you and I know that whatever story we have, there's another woman that's waiting to hear that story.
Yes. Yes.
Because in hearing our story, it'll have an impact on how they move forward and what impact that makes. And that shift, we make that shift available for them by showing up for as who we are and sharing our story.
Sharing
And
our
yeah.
why, and it becomes their what can I do?
Mhm.
How can I step into it? As I said, I've been doing this 13 years, and you cannot do these kind of shows and interview people like yourself who made the choice, choosing to live positively, choosing not to let cancer be your definition, but rather your ignition into going
Yes.
down a different path, allowing yourself to have the time to discover, what now? How do I heal myself? What is the purpose behind this? And allowing it to be presented. It is that permission for other people that there is no one size that fits all. This is your journey. You're inspiring
Mhm.
other people, but this is what you have to help them, with the clay, with everything else that you're doing to find themselves on their own journey.
Mhm.
And the more people that find themselves on that journey, the more they become the chorus and the orchestra, the more harmoniously we send out into the universe, and the more peace we actually do find. But it is
Yes.
about everybody's contribution, isn't it?
It is. It's the ripple effect, right?
Yes.
It's the ripple effect, and it's so true. Um, I've been blessed to have these opportunities to be able to share my story in all these books, and I think when we tell our stories and in our situation, in my situation, I think that there's always a lesson, and then we have to be cognizant of what the lesson is for us,
Yes.
and taking it in and pivoting however we're supposed to pivot from that lesson. And people can get their lesson and learn from us on how they might want to make a different choice. And certainly, I keep asking myself, what is the lesson from this situation? Is there another lesson from my cancer, my second diagnosis, that I have yet to take in or yet to learn?
Mm,
And being able to really be quiet and go into the journaling and meditation
mm,
to hear what the message is for us, that that Spirit has been whispering and we
yes.
haven't been hearing.
Mm.
So
To
I think
feel,
that,
to feel the message, right? Because once you hear it and you truly feel it, now you know it's the truth.
yeah, now you know what is true.
Yeah.
You know what is true.
And
And
again,
I
you
like
don't,
that.
yeah,
I
you
like when
don't
you
need
go
to
back to
verify,
truth.
justify. It just is, right? When you get to the point, it just is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
And there's
beautiful
an
journey.
important question in all of that
Yeah.
is this true?
Yes.
Is this
Yes.
true?
Is
And
it
how
your truth? Doesn't matter
is
about
it
somebody else. Is it your truth? Are you
well
living
said?
your truth? Um,
Yes.
Again, it's not about what other people think. It's what do you think about yourself, right? It isn't about somebody else's opinion of you. In fact, it's none of your business. It's
Yeah.
just be true to who you are, why you are,
Mhm.
what you are. There's a beautiful word called flawsome, which I discovered some time ago. And we all have flaws, we all have cracks. And the Japanese take a ball, or the Chinese, and they put it back together with gold and make it more valuable. And I say, take
Yes.
all our shattered pieces, put it back together with self love. It's now
Mhm.
unbreakable. And it's a
Mhm.
cup that can be filled with love and just runneth over. Be flawsome.
I love that. I love that. Fill your cup. Fill your cup
Yes,
first.
yes, Yes, you can't help anybody from an empty cup. Fill it up
No.
to the brim. And the thing about the heart, when it steps into true love, it is a generator that keeps pouring out more love. It won't be empty. It just keeps more and more and more. And the more you share, the more you generate because you know that it is the truth. You know that it is the divine truth, your heart, soul, spirit, soul truth. You know that it is your purpose. And when you're in that, the you're there. You're there doing
Yes.
what you're meant to do.
And you're there and you start living your life also very mindfully,
Yeah. Yes.
very mindfully.
You make better choices, right?
Mm-hmm. You make better choices, you're more intentional, and you have compassion for yourself and others
Hmm.
as part of living mindfully when you're, that well connected to your values, your strength, your purpose, and what you're meant to do, and live that daily, then, it's a win-win for everybody.
And that mindfulness is also what are you saying to yourself? Yes.
Yes.
Are you allowing that day off? Are you being kind to yourself? Has a negative thought come up? Well, that's old programming. Excuse me, I deleted you. You must have just the little remnants. Here we go, delete again. Right? Or maybe ask the question, why are you coming up? What is it that makes me feel insecure right now that this voice has come back in? What do I need to attend? Right?
Mhm.
Because, sometimes it's there to say, hey, hang on, you're just kiltering off a little bit too much to one side. Just need to realign. You know, I say with these shows, they listen, learn, and apply. Right? And that's what life is about. Listen, learn from it, and apply in a way that's going to help you move forward, because that's what's
Mhm.
important.
I
Now, you've
agree.
got a free gift for people with the first
Yes.
chapter of the book, which people can go to, but also to do with, the clay, the everything else. What are you doing for people, especially women right now, that are helping them on their self-discovery?
Right. And I really appreciate that. Um, I learned so much about how to sustain my own relevancy, vitality, and longevity that I am now actually I have my own program with another co-host on teaching women
Hmm.
how to remain and how to sustain relevancy, vitality, and longevity. And so I am doing webinars on a monthly basis. I'm going to start those back in July. And then it follows on with a 6-week course that dives in a little deeper to relevancy, vitality, and longevity. And I'm teaching what I know. I'm teaching my
Mm.
journey and everything that I've gone through to help women, especially mid-age and on, how to stay relevant. It's a kind of RVL, relevant vitality and longevity in their lives, and living on purpose
Yes.
and aligning values and strengths to what matters the most.
Mm.
Majestic Coaching Group is my website where you can find information. Also, I do this under the umbrella of Town Square Talk. So, Town Square Talk on Facebook or on LinkedIn. We have a number of shows that are coming up. We'll have a schedule on the next webinar that we will be hosting on relevancy, vitality, and longevity. Aside from the one chapter of Catherine's Quest, One Woman's Journey to Elation. So I can be found on Facebook and LinkedIn under Pat Alva-Kraker
Can you spell
or
that,
Majestic.
please, love?
I'm sorry.
Can you spell your name for people who are listening?
Oh, yes. For those that are listening, ALV, like in Victor A hyphen Kraker is Kraker.
So Pat in front of it. So
Pat
Pat Alva-Kraker,
Alva
and that's
Kraker.
and that's on LinkedIn. Plus, obviously, LinkedIn also has Majestic Coaching Group LLC,
Hmm.
Facebook Majestic Coaching, and
Majestic Coaching Group. Yeah.
your website is
Coaching
majesticcoachinggroup.com,
Group. Yes.
right? And as I said, you do have that free chapter. People can get your book where, my darling?
They can get the book from Amazon. If they go to my website, they also can buy the book at the website, and also you have the link to download the first chapter. And I encourage, for those who are in this space where they want to live from place from love, live from intention and self-leadership, then this book is for you or
Hmm.
for another woman who's in this place who is looking to write their own narrative.
Hmm. And, don't, never say never, because you never know. You know, when I started this 13 years ago and somebody asked me to be a podcaster on their network, I go, what's a podcast? It was live for the first 13 months I did it, and I pressed all the wrong buttons on the first show and interview people, and then suddenly they'd disappear and everything could go wrong. I called it the soap opera training. But I got the bug of hearing people's stories, knowing the effect that it had on me, and
Mhm.
how much it inspires others. And you've been on the summits, you're doing these webinars. Never ever underestimate the power of someone's story. Not all stories are for everybody at that moment. It's going to hit somebody who's at that juncture, who's going through something that now becomes that door opener. And then later on, you may hear another one and you go, oh, I'm ready for that door. But again, inspiration begets invitation. So having that webinar that then goes into a course, I think is brilliant, because the webinar is the inspiration, and then the invitation
Yes.
is to take your journey of self-discovery, which is wonderful. And of course, the book is a wonderful way to start opening up that door and
Yes,
stepping
it is.
in and taking that journey itself. Because one thing you've got to understand, folks, this is not something, a downloadable app or an Amazon delivery, of I've decided to change, therefore I'm changed. It is about the journey. And, however
Mhm.
old you are, we took a long time to get into that mess. All right. And however long it takes, however long it takes. But it's
Yeah.
being proactive in your own self discovery, proactive in your own journey, proactive in your awareness of what you're saying to yourself, the people around you, the choices that you're making, and being proactive in your own healing and becoming the beautiful, flawsome being you're meant to be.
It's so true. I amen to that.
We don't get here by sitting back and, watching soap
Yeah,
operas.
you can't sit back, you
No,
can't take
no,
the back seat and
no,
expect to have a very satisfying life,
no.
joyful life if you don't take action and create your own reality.
No, for the years of doing this, one thing I've heard from people is however horrific the experience was, my cosmic 2x4, that set me on this journey,
Mhm.
I would do it all over again to be where I
Yes,
am today. Is that truth to you?
that is very true for me. Absolutely. I've thought about that over and over again of the two occurrences, what's been happening. But this second one has really transformed me
Yeah,
and grown me from the inside out
yeah.
in ways that I would have never imagined and has
All
brought a
chosen for
passion.
yourself. All chosen for yourself, had you not had to make this other choice.
Absolutely. It's been life changing. And you're right. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was a hard journey,
Yeah.
but where I am today and what I've learned about myself and how more resilient and powerful and how connected I am now, I wouldn't have, yeah, I wouldn't have traded for anything.
No. Hey, come on in, folks. The waters are great. You just got to
Yeah,
be
come on.
willing to, dip your toes in and slowly emerge, right? Be
I
willing
love
to
it.
do the work, right?
Yes, yes.
And there goes back to that discipline, allowing, listening, but the discipline that, okay, today I'm not meant to do that. Today, the discipline is on nurturing. But, tomorrow it is about doing something, even if it's only one thing or maybe two things, but it's that discipline to make sure that you're in the right trajectory.
Yeah. Discipline over convenience.
Yes, yes. Convenience got you into the trouble in the first place.
Convenience gets me in trouble. And then
Exactly.
when I realize it, I'm like, you just chose the easy way out, Pat.
Yeah. And is it
No,
easy in the long run? No,
no.
it isn't. The stitch in time saves nine.
I hadn't heard
Wonderful.
that in a while.
No, it's I'm aging myself here completely. So, obviously, you can find the books on Amazon. You can find it on her site again, Majestic Coaching Group. www.majesticcoaching.com. You can find her on LinkedIn, Pat Alva-Kraker, Majestic Coaching on Facebook, Majestic Coaching Group LLC on LinkedIn. And don't forget, you can download the first chapter on her book. Just obviously put in her name here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com in the search engine, Pat Alva-Kraker, and you'll see, for yourself all that she offers. Go and step into those webinars. Start taking that journey. Your self-discovery awaits.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Pat. It's been wonderful having you here. And, don't forget, folks, this Mission Accepted book as well. She's in there as well. And all that is happening around that and Catherine's quest, because it's all about that's the proactiveness. Start reading, start listening to podcasts, start listening to webinars, start paying attention. Right? So it's just start immersing yourself in something. There will be things that will go, aha, and other things, well, that's nice. I'll put it in my backpack. Oh, it'll be there one day. But there's other things that go, aha, wow, I didn't know that. Whoa. And now it's time to move on. So,
So true.
yeah.
So true. Thank you.
My pleasure. So remember, listen, learn, and apply, folks. There's a lot you listened to today, a lot that you learned. Don't forget to apply it, because we want you to be elevated into that higher, flawsome, beautiful consciousness and step into your meaningful purpose. So until next time, folks, bye for now.
Bye-bye.